Hello, Professor Ferik Tambu. Today I'm going to talk about case study for which is to do with BP's acknowledgement of global and ensuing major advances in social responsibility. Um, the reason why I chose this topic actually, it really amazes me how BP was able to conduct the business by using environmental friendly methods and strategies. And by so doing, they were able also to attract a larger market and have and have a good profit of their products. And I'm going straight to my introduction. In my introduction, I'll talk about my background, the background history of BP, the BP's investment in CSR, the factors that gave BP a competitive advantage in the shift to CSR, and the critics that BP faced, and the BP's impact on other oil industries. In the background, BP was formed in the year 1997, and the chief executive of BP is John Brown. John Brown is the guy that brought a difference in the strategies of how and how BP conducted its business and how BP was able to use the environmentally friendly methods in producing the oil. And in BP's role in improving the environment, BP has evolved by using alternative energy environmentally friendly business. Um, Actually, BP's major thing that they did was like they shifted to CSR, and the reasons behind BP's shift to CSR was to reduce the emission of carbon dioxide, and they were able to achieve their goal pretty much faster in only 4 years' time. And this shows how BP was able to improve the environment by reducing the emission of carbon dioxide. As you know, that carbon dioxide may lead to global warming, and this is not an environmentally friendly thing. And BP's investment CSR, um, the use of internal emission trading programs. The purpose of that BP's in, BP in using the internal emission trading program was to limit the emission of pollutants by allowing BP divisions to trade pollution credits. And BP's commitment to invest heavily in renewable energy such as solar and wind power, this is another BP's investment, CSR. Um, as we talk now, BP is the world's second largest producer of solar panels and the world's foremost provider of cleaner burning fluids. Um, On to my next slide, I'm going to talk about factors that gave BP a competitive advantage in the shift to CSR. Um, the factors that gave them advantage towards the shift to CSR, a competitive advantage towards the shift to CSR, a shared sense of purpose. They had a shared, they had a shared sense of purpose, and the shared sense of purpose is like doing something positive for the global environment, and they were able to do something positive for the global environment. The company relentless focus on achievable results is another factor. Uh, the company was too much focused on achieving the results, and the results are the reduction of emission of carbon dioxide. The other results of what they achieved is being the second largest producer of solar panels, and those are the things that they have achieved as a result of relentless focus and the company's ability to cement connection between responsibility and profitability. So cement connection between responsibility is the responsibility in terms of how they can improve the environment, and how they can prevent polluting the environment. And profitability is getting profit out of being responsible over the environment where they live and other people live. And as you all know that there'll always be critics also the positive things that are going on. And so BP has their critics, and critics attack BP by claiming that they are only interested in CSR for profit. Um, uh, some companies believe that BP shift to CSR was for profit, and that they don't really care about improving the environment, but they care by improving they care that by improving the environment, by BP improving the environment, they're gonna profit out of it. They don't care the ideology of improving the environment and making the world a better place. Another critics asserted that limiting emissions will have a negative economic impact. As you all know that by limiting the emissions such as carbon dioxide, that means like a lot of work in the industry is not taking place. That means a lot of things are being limited. So the end product of what is being processed in the industry is not as much. So this kind of triggers triggers the economy of of the products of the industry, and that's why it has a negative economic impact on it. And onto my next slide, I'm going to talk about BP's impact on other oil industries. Um, as I talked, like BP is a really good role model, and every major oil company has been forced to follow BP, leading in the investment of millions and billions of dollars by every oil company was forced to follow BP's rule, and they were able to invest millions and billions of dollars by limiting carbon dioxide emissions, reducing waste, and exploiting alternative energy sources. BP was able to attract a large market and was able to become a really great company because of doing such things. And the rival companies, the other companies, they had to join the idea of BP to be able to be in the same competing line with BP. And this is what I have to say about BP. And I feel like BP was a major step of, was a major step in oil industry. And in my conclusion, I'm gonna repeat what I said in my introduction. I talked about BP role in improving the environment. We saw how BP was able to improve the environment, was able to use the alternative energy methods, and BP's investment CSR. We were able to see that, and factors that give a BP a competitive advantage in shift to CSR, a shared sense of purpose, as I talked about, that gave them a positive energy to improve on the global environment. And critics that BP faced, we also saw it. I also talked about it. One of the critics that I talked about was that it was asserted to trigger the economy, and I explained how it triggered by by reducing production. Since when you reduce the emission of carbon dioxide, that means that you reduce the production, and that leads to a negative. And lastly, the thing that I talked about was BP's impact on oil industries, and all other oil industries were able and they realized that BP's work led to more profit, attracted many people, so they had to shift their way of doing things to the way BP is doing their thing. Right, I think this is all that I have. Thank you for listening to me.